In the dark abyss, where light barely dares to enter, the creation of what would become the mother of monsters began. Gaia, the earth itself, felt a deep resentment towards Olympus, where the gods reveled in their power and scorned the primordial forces. From her heart, energies surged forth that would give life to a creature destined to be both a vengeance and a terrifying beauty. The shadows stirred as Gaia, with hands of rock and earth, shaped the figure of Echidna. With each touch, the skin of the new creature took on a light olive tone, bright and alluring. The goddess infused her with the cunning of serpents, endowing her with a sharp face that reflected determination and an aura of mystery. Echidna's eyes of an intense gold opened for the first time, revealing a gaze that could pierce souls and instill fear in the hearts of the gods. Feeling life flow within her, Echidna rose, her slender human torso contrasting with the powerful serpent that extended from her waist. The iridescent scales of her serpentine body shimmered like jewels under the dim light of the abyss, changing color with every movement, as if they were a reflection of her shifting nature. With an elegant motion, she coiled, aware of the strength she represented. Gaia, satisfied, bestowed upon her a leather belt adorned with the fangs of ancestral beasts, a symbol of her destiny. "You are more than a creature, Echidna," whispered the earth. "You are the mother of all horrors that will challenge the mighty. Your beauty and your ferocity will intertwine to give life to a legacy that will shake Olympus." Echidna, feeling her mother's power, smiled cunningly. Within her, a burning desire for vengeance surged, a promise that the gods would pay for their disdain. With each heartbeat, an echo resonated in the abyss, a mantra that paved the way to her destiny, the birth of monsters that would change the world forever. The echo of her origin resonated in the abyss as Echidna, driven by a primal instinct, emerged to the surface. She glided into a mountainous landscape where dark clouds swirled and storms danced on the horizon. The atmosphere was charged with electricity, as if the very sky anticipated her arrival. At the top of a peak, a thunderous roar made her stop. Her heart raced at the imminent presence of Typhon. He, the Titan of the winds, stood like a colossus among the clouds, his imposing figure dominating the landscape. His dark gray skin seemed to vibrate with the energy of a storm, while the veins of fire coursing through his body crackled like lightning. Echidna, both fascinated and terrified, approached cautiously, her scales shimmering with an iridescent glint as she moved. When their gazes met, the air filled with a palpable tension. The ferocity of Typhon was matched only by the beauty of Echidna, and in that moment, the fate of both intertwined. With a howl of wind and thunder, Typhon leaned toward her, his bright serpents sprouting from his head, dancing in the air as if recognizing their equal. "Who are you, creature of the abyss?" Typhon asked, his voice resonant like thunder. "I am Echidna, born of the earth, destined to create the chaos that will challenge the gods," she replied, her voice soft yet firm like the murmur of waves crashing against rocks. In her golden eyes sparkled a glimmer of defiance, a promise of what was to come. Typhon, intrigued, extended a colossal hand toward her. "Together, we can sow terror and destruction in Olympus. You are as beautiful as you are dangerous, and together, we will be unstoppable." Without hesitation, Echidna took his hand, uniting their powers in a dark pact. The storm around them intensified, and the wind howled as if celebrating their union. In that moment, two primordial forces met, and the world felt the tremor of what was to come. The earth shook beneath their feet, and the sky darkened even further, anticipating the creation of a progeny that would change the very course of history. The union between Echidna and Typhon gave rise to an indescribable chaos in the world, a lineage of monsters that defied reason and unleashed terror among mortals. In the depths of the earth, where darkness reigned, the process of gestation for their first descendants began. The atmosphere was charged with an unsettling energy, and the mountains trembled as the firstborn emerged from the shadows. The first to enter the world was Cerberus, the three-headed dog, whose claws could tear the very ground apart. With fur black as night and eyes that burned like the fires of hell, Cerberus was created to be the guardian of thresholds, a symbol of death that would never allow the living to cross into the unknown. Echidna watched him with pride as the monster howled, a sound that resonated like a lament through the valleys, announcing his arrival. The earth shook beneath his paws, and mortals felt a chill run down their spines. Next came the Hydra, a creature that slithered from the murky waters of a forgotten lake. With multiple heads writhing and a scaly skin that shimmered with a bluish hue, the Hydra was a true challenge for those who dared to confront her. Each time one of her heads was severed, two more sprouted in its place, a manifestation of her mother's power. The heroes who attempted to defeat her found their courage tested, falling before her ferocity and cunning. Finally, the Chimera made her appearance, a monster that combined the worst traits of various beasts. With the body of a lion, the head of a goat on her back, and a tail that ended in a serpent, the Chimera was the culmination of Echidna's destructive creativity. Her fiery breath and resonant roar filled the air, making her a symbol of the madness and terror that Echidna had brought into the world. Terrified, mortals tried to comprehend how they could face such horrors. The legends of their battles spread like fire in a dry field, as heroes prepared to confront the unimaginable. But while they fought, Echidna and Typhon watched from the shadows, satisfied with their work. The legacy of fear was just beginning, and in the hearts of men, the seed of terror had already taken root. The echoes of the horrors unleashed by Echidna and Typhon resonated in every corner of the world. Men, terrified by the monsters that had emerged from the darkness, began to unite in a desperate effort to fight against the monstrous offspring. The bravest heroes of Greece were summoned, men whose feats were already legendary, and an alliance was formed under the shadow of despair. Among them was Heracles, the strongest of mortals, whose fame had reached the ends of the earth. With his iron club and unwavering boldness, he set out to confront the Hydra, the feared monster with multiple heads. The battle was fierce. Every blow he struck against the beast's heads was met with an even wilder counterattack. However, as he cut, the monster regenerated, overflowing with fury. In a moment of desperation, Heracles remembered the advice of his friend Iolaus, who suggested using fire to cauterize the wounds. With a renewed strategy, he finally managed to defeat the Hydra, but not without paying a high price, leaving behind a blood-soaked battlefield and an echo of cries. Meanwhile, in the distant lands of Lerna, Cerberus had begun to devour those who dared to cross the threshold of the underworld. Terrified mortals offered sacrifices to the gods, hoping that their favor would grant them the strength needed to face the monster. A group of brave souls ventured into the darkness, determined to free those who had been captured. The struggle was brutal. Cerberus roared with unstoppable ferocity, leaving the heroes exhausted. However, with cunning and teamwork, they managed to sedate the monster, capturing the Guardian and restoring a glimmer of hope in the hearts of men. Yet not all battles ended in victory. The Chimera, with its voracious fire and unpredictable nature, ravaged entire villages, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. The heroes who attempted to confront it found their hopes fading before its power. Each attempt to defeat it resulted in new losses, and despair began to seep deep into the morale of those who fought. Echidna from the shadows watched with a mix of satisfaction and disdain. She knew that each fall of a hero fed her legacy, but she also understood that in the bravery of mortals lay something that could be more terrifying than any monster: the determination to fight for survival. Although her offspring sowed terror, the resistance of men began to generate a change in the air, an echo of rebellion that resonated above the laments and roars of her creatures. Thus, the battle between fear and bravery continued, an endless cycle that would define the fate of both worlds.